All right, my queen, you come in here today, 45, a new age. How does it feel?
45 and alive. I mean, it feels literally the same.
It feels the same.
Yes. I had several people reach out belatedly and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I missed your birthday. And I'm like, I'm 45. I don't need that same day validation as I did when I was 10 years old and inviting you to my birthday party. But yeah, it feels the same. It's great.
What did you do this year?
I literally chilled all day. I watched all my shows that I wanted to watch, watched some movies, and then, my husband gave me some gifts. And the next day, I got really drunk to the point where I went to the convenience store and spoke Spanish with the lady behind the counter, and she was just laughing her ass off. Then I lost my diamond earrings, had some birthday sex. It was great.
You lost your diamond
earrings?
I
have since found them.
Okay.
But I had no idea where they were because they came off in a drunken state. So, yeah.
From last words?
From last words, yeah. And my thing is it's always don't have more than 2 drinks. Don't have more than 2 drinks, and you will not have a hangover. You will not be too drunk. You'll be because...
What had you pushing your luck?
Because here's the thing. A last word is all alcohol. It's 3 alcohols and then equal parts lime juice. So it's all alcohol. But so I had 2 last words and a lychee, however you want to say it, because I got corrected at the one diner, martini. And yeah, I was feeling it. Yeah. It was great, though. I love being that drunk.
All right. Well, you're at the midpoint of your current decade.
Yes.
What have you learned thus far in this decade? And what do you still want to do before you head into your 50s?
Oh, my God. There's so much I want to do. But I guess for me, the thing that I've learned is it's more lessons from my younger self. And I wrote this on Instagram. When I was in my 20s, I thought, oh, my gosh, I'm so behind. I haven't done this and that. I didn't go straight through college at first. I dropped out of college. So all of my peers had finished college, had done some master's degrees, were in a career. I was still finding myself. And in hindsight, I guess what I've discovered is that while life is short in a lot of ways, it's also long in that as long as you keep pushing and keep exploring and keep finding things you want to do, you can do them. You're still here. You know what I mean? I'm still able-bodied. I'm still hot. I mean, all these things that you think in your 40s, you're going to be middle-aged. That doesn't mean anything. It really is just a number. So I think that's what I've learned. And there's just so much that I want to do. There's hobbies that I want to continue to explore, and I want to grow my show. I want to be pseudo-famous, not famous, but pseudo-famous. And yeah, I want to make money talking into this microphone. There's a lot I want to do.
No, yeah. I love that. I think that also getting better with age. I was sick during your birthday weekend. So I was sitting in bed robo-tripping, a.k.a. just downing Robitussin, which apparently can lead to hallucinations. Wasn't my truth. I didn't take enough of it to get there. But then I was having questions about, what is Robitussin lean? Which I've learned that there is a bigger distinction there.
Yes. So lean is promethazine and codeine. So much stronger drugs. And they will have you
slumped.
Leaning.
Someone said it was Zendaya.
Yeah. It's very, very similar. And so the rappers and the regular Joe Schmoes who I used to date back in the year 2000 would, in their double cupped solo cups, put the cough syrup and Sprite or whatever, usually Sprite. It was freaking Sonic flavor blasted drinks. I don't know if you've ever had Sonic, but now you can get nerds in your drinks and now and laters. That's what people were doing with lean back in the year 2000.
It just sounds so low vibrations.
Absolutely.
Knowing what cough syrup is. I then was starting to really try to process what were people in this rap game doing with said lean, and I imagine that they were in the clubs a lot, and I thought that maybe it was just helping them disassociate from that hectic environment, because otherwise I'm just trying to get into the headspace of why are we fucking with cough syrup this heavy?
Well, I just think about Lil Wayne a lot. Lil Wayne is a very in a lot of ways a very thoughtful person. I think Lil Wayne.
You love Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne and I share a birthday.
I don't know why you always say I love Lil Wayne. I like Lil Wayne. You share a birthday with Lil Wayne?
September 27th.
Someone left a comment in one of our videos on our birthday. He was my birthday twin. Do you know who Touré is? He used to be a VJ on MTV and he's a journalist or whatever.
No.
Anyway, he left comment on one of our videos and I was like, what is Touré up
V
to?
Touré?
Yes, I Googled him and I was like, we have the same birthday. That's so interesting. But going back to the drugs, I think about Lil Wayne and Lil Wayne seems very depressed. Like, so depressed. And I think that there's some...
He's chasing a feeling with all those tattoos and the piercings.
Yes, he's chasing a feeling. And I do think that like a lot of poets of whatever genre, and rap is a form of poetry, especially when you're as lyrically blessed as Lil Wayne, I think that they're just tortured souls. And I mean, he's had a horrible life, a lot of like abuse and stuff, but I could see trying to dissociate from life, especially in the club where everybody wants something from you, from the club manager to the host to the hangers-on, you know what I mean? Your entourage, everybody wants them. But me specifically, let me tell you, I don't think I have an addictive personality because I have tried drugs and I'm kind of just like, this didn't do what it was supposed to do, and so I don't try it again. But I do think that if I could get into some drugs, they would definitely be the opposite end. I'm into uppers.
Who wouldn't want to be on an upper?
Like, why are you not wanting to dance and sweat and talk with your hands and like...
I want to be the Energizer Bunny.
Like, I want to dance, talk, and have sex. That is what drugs should be about.
It should be about having fun.
I do not want to be in the club slumped over. So give me the Adderall. And you know what? It's funny. Okay. Nick,
Although we do both love a good nap.
if I could choose between a good nap and a really high time, like a fun, guaranteed fun time, I'd rather do that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But it's interesting. So I was talking to Nick Cannon one time and I told him that I would be open to trying crack cocaine. And he was like, you saying you're going to smoke crack? And I was like, I definitely would smoke crack. He was like, you would smoke crack. I was like, I would for sure smoke crack. And maybe this is because, like I said, I've tried things before. I've tried cocaine one time and it didn't do what it was supposed to do for me. So maybe it's because I don't think that I'll actually get addicted. But I would definitely try crack.
That is an insane statement that I don't know how people are going to feel about it, because I don't know that I can fully process it right now. Because it reminds me of people, I know people in my life who are like, who have said, I would try heroin once. And I'm like,
No.
you're going to dance with the devil?
No, I would never try heroin. I just think I could beat crack. Also, I have...
Well, in the great words of Whitney Houston, crack is whack.
Well, I had a hairdresser whose dad was a functional
Crackhead.
went to work every day, smoked crack on his break, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, was fine.
Well, I've said this multiple times to multiple people, but it's like, factually, you have someone that you work with that is an addict, period, a functional addict.
Yes.
And it's just interesting to think what someone might be doing in their free time while still appearing as operational around you day by day.
Yeah, that's actually really crazy.
It is really crazy. And it's one of those moments where you would love to be a fly on the wall in like other people's lives.
Yeah.
But if you were a fly on my wall while I was sick, all I was doing was watching movies. I was filling gaps in my hopes and dreams to be a self-proclaimed cinephile. Mm-hmm. So watched Jerry Maguire for the first time, watched The Way We Were for the first time, went on a little Kathy Bates filmography kick for a minute, watched Misery, Fried Green Tomatoes for the first time. And speaking of going back to just aging and getting better, Kathy Bates is now in her 70s. She was just recently at the Oscars and looked gorgeous.
Looked incredible.
Looked more beautiful than ever before.
Well, I think that we saw the beginnings of this happening in that Nicole Kidman Zac Efron movie. Remember she played
yes.
mother-in-law to Nicole Kidman? Yeah, like even in that movie, I was like, Kathy Bates is looking really good.
I mean, it just goes to show that like anyone can get better with age. Anyone can have their moment late in life, which like we've seen that many a times from like a Coleman Domingo
Oh
to,
my God, yes.
or even a Renaissance, a Betty White Renaissance.
True.
The way that she went out, it was like she was bigger than she was ever before.
I will say a glow up has a no age limit. And honestly, like I think a glow up might be more attainable later in life just because you have more money and you give less fucks, right? And a lot of a glow up is how you feel in here, right? And so I just think back to in my late 20s, early 30s, where people generally still look really good. I mean, I had little kids. I was schlubby as fuck. And now my kids can go pour a bowl of cereal or make a ramen, or they can cook real meals, actually. And so now I'm just like, I have time for me. And that's what Kathy Bates has.
She has time for her.
Exactly. Wait, in Fried Green Tomatoes, is that the movie where she's like fighting for a parking spot with these young girls?
Yes.
Okay, she's like, I'm older and I have more insurance.
Yes. So she keeps hitting their car after they like steal the parking spot from her. And they're like, sorry, lady, we're just younger and faster.
Yeah. Such a good movie. She's such a good actress.
She is such a good actress. Misery, I can't believe that it was really like one of her first film roles because she was transitioning from a stage actress. And in that role, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress. But like, it was offered to like 20 notable actresses at the time.
Oh, wow.
They all turned the role down.
It's one of those things, if it's for you, it's for you. That's so interesting. I don't know if this is true, but I remember hearing once upon a time that the word hobbling didn't exist before that movie.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't know if that's true.
What I did learn, though, is in the book, the source material from Stephen King, so know how she hits his leg with the, like, smash
Mallet or
hammer,
whatever.
mallet, yeah. He actually, like, saws off, I think, one of his legs, or, like, his feet.
In the book.
In the book.
Okay.
And also takes a finger from him.
Oh.
So, in both the source material and the movie, he does survive Annie Wilkes.
Okay.
But, like, to varying degrees.
Okay.
So I thought
the book was
that
real crazy.
The book was crazier.
I might actually tap into that.
I think you'd probably like that.
I know, because I love the movie. What is Catherine Zeta-Jones' husband's name?
Michael Douglas.
The movie with Michael Douglas where he's cheating on his wife and the woman becomes obsessed with him. Do you know what I'm talking about?
In the 90s?
Yes.
The string of... Is it Primal Fear? No. It's,
Oh, crap. Anyway, and there's like a surprise ending at the end. I won't give away if you've never seen it. But
Fatal Attraction?
Fatal Attraction with Glenn Close and Michael... whatever his name is, Douglas. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, I will add that to your list of late 80s, early 90s movies you need to watch.
Okay. I'll tune into that. The last thing I wanted to speak about in terms of aging is, did you see this new Netflix series, Age of Attraction?
I have not seen it yet.
I'm not going to watch it. I don't
Okay.
think I care. I can't do another dating show.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired of them. However, I did watch like a clip reel on X of the reveals of these people coupling up, kind of like akin to the door opening in Love is Blind and
Yes.
the two people seeing each other for the first time. But this is like us revealing to one another, like, I'm 29, you saying I'm 45.
Okay.
If you told me you were 45, I'd probably be gagged and gooped.
Yes. And probably okay with it because I don't look like so old.
And that is kind of the case for how it seems like it unfolds for pretty much everyone. But at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm 60 and you're 23. I don't know that this is like, I can't even watch this play out because in theory, like, while age is just a number and like these people are like, can be sexually attracted to one another, I'm like, having a viable, deep relationship.
Exactly.
I'm just like, you don't have any of the same touchstones.
Like literally me and my husband are 12 years apart. And I have almost all of his touchstones. Like just because I'm the second to young of all the cousins. So all of my cool cousins are Gen X. So I know all of the Gen X stuff. He knows none of the millennial stuff. And add race into things, like the cultural touchstones are just very different. I think about stuff that I want to bring up to you and I'm like, he's not going to know what that is. And it might be generational, but it's usually racial. But so to have a real relationship with someone who's like 20, 30 years older than you, that is insane.
No, when I told you I watched Jerry Maguire, you told me that Cuba Gooding Jr. had a brother.
And you were like, I didn't know that. Omar Gooding, excellent actor. And he was on a show growing up called Wild and Crazy Kids. It was like an outdoor, like you know how on Nickelodeon they always had all those like obstacle course shows. It was an outdoor show. It was amazing. And he was, of course, the black host. But he's also in the show or in the movie Baby Boy. And that character is iconic, the character he plays in Baby Boy. But yeah, he's a great actor.
Wow. Okay, well, did you hear this slogan in recent weeks? From older me to younger you.
No. What is that?
From older me to younger you.
No.
It was for the Hannah Montana reunion.
Oh, okay.
That is how Miley Cyrus framed it.
Okay.
From older me to younger you.
Okay.
Isn't that really cute?
That's cute, yeah.
So the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana came this week. It was produced by Alex Cooper and Unwell, her production company. Yep. And was really just, I think, Miley Cyrus reclaiming Hannah and that time period and what it meant for her. And that, like, while she had this dad who was famous, he was famous for really being a kind of a one-hit wonder in many ways.
Achy Breaky Heart.
Achy Breaky Heart. And he had done, I think, like another sitcom in Canada, like I think like while they were living in Franklin, Tennessee, around the time that she got Hannah Montana. So like he was dipping his foot into the acting world, but like kind of on a low...
Like an entry level almost. Like
on
a
an
lower
entry level scale.
Yeah.
So she went through this audition process, and I don't think that she really had a huge name behind her. I don't think the Billy Ray Cyrus of it all was a huge leg up. She beat out thousands of girls who auditioned for Hannah Montana, and it was just interesting to see the genesis of, even in the pilot episode, they didn't have the money for the right wig and it looked really low budget, to her talking about how the wig changed over the seasons, which I remembered. And her and her mom, Tish, like Tish would buy outfits for Hannah Montana and Tish would do a better job buying Hannah outfits than Disney themselves. She ended up re-recording or doing a new version or nod to the songs in the past of like The Climb and The Best of Both Worlds, which was the theme song. And it was just really sweet to see her, I don't know, just celebrate this career that like so many people of my generation in our like mid to early, like I'm about to be in my 30s this year. And like Alex Cooper, I think, is a few years older than me. And like, these are the people who were watching Hannah Montana.
Yeah, and I think Miley Cyrus is like 33.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Hannah Montana was on my radar, but I was way too old to watch it. And my sister was way too old to watch it. But it was so indelible to the American psyche that like I can hear the song in my head without, I don't think I've ever seen more than 2 episodes. And I think that's because my kids have watched it.
People equate it to being as big as the Disney Renaissance, meaning the films of The Little Mermaid to The Lion King to Aladdin, like that stretch in the 90s of that revival period. They saw Hannah Montana as the next big moment for the Disney Corporation, because they basically manufactured a pop star through storytelling in a way where they were trying to mirror the popularity of a Britney Spears and an NSYNC. And guess what? They did it.
Yeah.
And Hannah Montana was really the start of what then became careers for the Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, because they realized that the pop star pipeline was going to be a successful model for them. And also at this time, it's like also parallel pathing with like High School Musical. So it was like this huge Disney renaissance of the musical talents on Disney Channel.
So they had their first kind of run of this with the Mickey Mouse Club, which did produce Justin Timberlake, J.C. Chasez, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, some other people. And so then this was kind of like their second bite of the apple of them getting these people who are like triple threats. They sing, they dance, they act. And I mean, we also see that with like Zendaya, right? So Disney definitely was in their bag at that time. But it's really interesting because when Raven Simone was asked who was on her Mount Rushmore of Disney, Hannah Montana / Miley Cyrus was not on that Mount Rushmore.
It was Raven, which is fair. I think she included Shia LaBeouf.
Yep.
Was it Hilary Duff?
Yes.
And who else?
Lee Thompson Young, who played Jet. Was it Jet Jackson?
All of the other three I grew up with. That one predated my Disney memories.
Okay, well, this was going to be my point. To Raven's defense, or whatever, not that she needs my defense, but all of the ones that she named were of a different time than Hannah Montana. They were from the early 2000s, because Lizzie McGuire was from 2001 to 2004. Even Stevens was 2000 to 2003, and then Raven was 2003 to 2007.
Which I grew up with all of them.
Okay.
But those weren't the height of my Disney Channel
Right.
popularity in terms of my generation.
I think Jet Jackson was on at that same time.
Okay.
But Lee Thompson Young died. He died very young. And so maybe he didn't he wouldn't have stayed in your psyche because he died very young.
Whereas my Mount Rushmore might look like Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus.
You're on the Camp Rock / Hannah Montana, yes.
And then even then it's really hard because it's like I'm not including Ashley Tisdale. I'm not including the Sprouse brothers. I'm not including Brenda Song, who Macaulay Culkin said that Brenda Song's on his Mount Rushmore, of course. It's just, there were so many stars born out of that period. Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens, they might have been one of the biggest couples, one of the biggest power couples in the world. Like akin to a Brangelina.
Or Justin and Brittany for half a second before all of that went down. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Disney was really making stars. And like we were talking today about, true Hollywood stars. Do we still have true Hollywood stars? I think if you step back and ask like a different question, do we even have kind of like the studio model that can produce stars reliably like a Disney?
I think that that's still happening, but maybe in the background, and we won't know until the years to come, until that next generation bubbles up. But like the next generation also sits underneath of the stars we all mentioned. Olivia Rodrigo, Disney. Jake Paul, Disney. Dove Cameron, Disney.
Yeah. And that is actually, it's so interesting because I'm more familiar with that class because of my kids. My daughter watching Bizaardvark with Olivia Rodrigo and Jake Paul as well. And I wonder, it's not even like I would even know because now with streaming and not having cable, it's hard to get addicted to a class of people. Like, you know what I mean? Like a school class of people.
Well, there was a time where media was more concentrated in terms of all of our eyes were in one place, where now it's so diluted. Like, yeah, I don't know what kids are watching on Disney Channel versus Disney Plus, and if the too many options that are available to them then dilutes, a future star's path in having you put a lot of stock in them.
Yeah. And then also a star might just be a streamer because what my son watches is Joe Bartolozzi. And do you know who Joe Bartolozzi is?
No.
Probably not, but he has millions and millions and millions of followers who watch him every day. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is really insane to think about.
But speaking of Zendaya, I'm so excited to see her movie next week. I think it's going to be one of the few movies that I see in opening weekend because, I'm like you, I'm trying to be more of a cinephile. I love movies. I love dissecting movies, the message behind the art and all of that stuff. So I'm really excited to come see this one.
Okay, I was excited to see it. It's an A24 movie with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, both of whom I love. They're about to be in 3 movies together this year. The Odyssey, Dune Part 3, and the drama. So it's kicked off with this film, and they're going to be on a press tour together for the remainder of the year.
Okay.
2 good-looking people that we will have on our screens for 2026.
Yes.
With that being said, in the marketing for this movie, it's about a couple getting married. And before they get married, they sit down at a dinner table with multiple couples. And they ask each other to reveal, I guess, their deepest, darkest secret,
like
or the worst thing that they've ever done.
Yes. And in the preview, you get the sense that like everyone reveals something kind of like, shocking, but not like shocking, except for Zendaya.
I mean, if you were to answer what is the worst thing you ever did, what would you say?
First of all, the worst thing I ever did is going to the grave with me. Like, you won't know.
Really?
David won't know.
So you feel like it's bad?
I have things that will go to the grave with me.
I don't feel that way. If I were to answer it, in 3rd grade, I felt like I was kind of running a Ponzi scheme on my school bus, and I had like a Burger King coupon. I don't know why. I had this Burger King coupon, and I told these kids, whoever told these kids, I'll never forget it. Marissa and Jordan, they were 1st graders. I said, whoever gives me the most money will win this prize. It was a Burger King coupon. I don't think I was obscuring what the prize was. I like, they were bought into it, and for whatever reason, they were handing me over cash.
You were taking advantage of younger children, first of all. But
I was in 3rd grade.
I understand. You were 8.
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know where this...
Why were they buying a fucking coupon?
I don't know what this was born out of. All I can tell you is, like, this is how I remember it, and this is factual.
Okay.
To the degree of, I get called into the principal's office, I guess, like, a month later, and they're like, you've been taking these kids' lunch money. And I was like, I have not been taking anyone's lunch money. And they're like, no, these kids have not been eating lunch because the money in which they've been giving you is their lunch money.
Okay, I was about to be like, this is the worst thing you ever did, but okay, that's pretty bad. So there's no way you knew. I mean, you didn't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know that they were going hungry because of me during the school day. But all to say, I had to then give the money back. It was literally hidden in a drawer in my living room.
Okay.
Like I had stuffed the cash into like this like side table. Brought it to the principal's office. My mom got called in, whatever, had detention. I had to write an apology note, and I'll never forget this element of it. I was writing sorry, and I wrote it with 1 R instead of 2, dyslexic. And my mom goes, Bryan, are you serious? Sorry has 2 R's. Like she was like disappointed in me not knowing as much. And I go, I don't really care because I'm not sorry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's so funny, but that's the worst thing that you've done?
I just think that that's like that or like
no.
Dating someone in college when I should have broken up with them because I needed free housing.
Okay. I mean, I can't really think of anything. Like, I've never killed anyone. I've never hurt anyone. But I'm just like, there are things that I'd rather not share. I would pick something I would have just picked something mild in this couple scenario.
Yeah, I just would say that I've never done anything with like, I think a lot of malice behind it.
Okay.
Or like intentional malice.
Of course,
to hurt or harm.
Yeah.
Which, the twist in this movie, which now has people up in arms, and you said you didn't want to know what it was before going into the theater.
I know it's online. I just didn't want it spoiled. But if it's online, it's online.
And I think that based on your personal life, you're going to have like resonance on why there is uproar.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know that it's necessarily a twist. That's another thing. A twist is something you don't see that's coming.
Okay.
We know through the marketing that a secret is going to be revealed and it is going to unravel this relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just about what is the secret.
Exactly.
The secret is Zendaya planned to do a mass shooting in high school and wishes she went through with it.
Oh, wow.
And Columbine parents
Yes.
are coming out and saying this is a terrible plot line.
So I did know that it must have had something to do with a shooting just because I did see the headline about the Columbine parents.
So it's just kind of like, it is an interesting reveal because I don't know what the entertainment value in that is.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean,
I haven't seen it. We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But like on paper, I
Yeah.
don't think that that's a really great
Yeah.
story beat.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, just from hearing just that, it feels like it's for shock value. But maybe the art is in how it gets treated, like how Zendaya gets treated after this reveal and how she works through it, or how Robert Pattinson works through it. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. You were like, with my sensibilities, knowing that I have a friend who was shot in a school shooting. Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I just like, and also, I mean, going back to integrating this question into our real lives, if someone revealed that to me, I don't think I would ever see them again.
Absolutely not. My son was in a computer class in the 8th grade in which he sat behind a girl who was looking at guns online, so he could see her computer looking at guns online, and she made a joke about doing a school shooting. My son felt very conflicted about telling on her, and thankfully he has some friends with some really strong convictions that were like, no, you have to go and tell the teacher about it. And the girl ended up being like placed on suspension for like a week. I don't think it's like illegal to be like, I wish I could shoot up the school, but like, it is not illegal, but it's against the rules to be looking at guns online. So they were able to suspend her on that and also be like, your daughter needs some therapy and whatever. But I was so afraid for my kid's life that this girl was going to try to retaliate against my son. Like, I definitely would not be friends with someone if that was their reveal. I'd be like, what is wrong with you? Also, what is wrong with you that you thought that saying this out loud was not going to get a disgusted reaction?
Like, what about this feels like it can be processed?
Yeah, no. Girl, you need therapy.
You need therapy. You need to be locked up. Well, speaking of someone needing to be locked up, you seem to be in the court of public opinion that wants to put Taylor, Frankie, Paul away.
You know, I've had a weekend to sit with it, and I've seen a lot of irresponsible take of people using therapist speak that they probably shouldn't be using, that there are terms in the abuse, the domestic violence sphere that I think people are using incorrectly. And I guess where I've landed on this is that it's just also very unfortunate for everyone involved, but especially the children. But one of the things that really sat with me after listening to Rachel Lindsay, who was the first Black lead in the Bachelor Bachelorette franchise, was that, you know, she had made this joke that Taylor, Frankie, Paul was going to be a DEI candidate, basically because on paper, like, she is a person. If she were a Black person, you'd be like, oh, she lives a ghetto life. She has multiple baby daddies. She's divorced. She has a felony charge. And yet ABC decided, we're going to take a chance on this woman for good reason. The good reason being, like, she was going to be a ratings powerhouse. That I understand. But it really just kind of like reminded me of how we are as Americans. And it just made me think about the Obamas versus Trump. And maybe this feels like a stretch, but I just don't think so. It's like Obamas, when the Obamas came into office, they had to be like perfect Ivy League graduates, like, you know, never divorced, 2 kids, you know, a dog that they got while they were in the White House, versus Trump, who was literally this millionaire who turned into being a reality star, who had multiple baby mamas, who was crass, who said disgusting things on tape, and yet we still roll the dice on them. And it's just really interesting to me as a country who we decide we're going to support and who we're not going to decide to support, because to what Rachel Lindsay was saying is that when she was the Bachelorette, there was all these things she couldn't do. She's a lawyer. She couldn't say this. She couldn't wear certain things. She couldn't wear her hair in certain ways. And yet we've come so far in so many ways, in that I do think that someone with multiple baby daddies should be able to be the Bachelorette. But it's just really interesting.
Well, to color this with some context, this is a woman who is coming from a Disney-owned property the Hulu reality show known as The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And it's been on for 4 seasons. And I remember watching season 1 a few years ago when it aired. They've pumped them all out very quickly. I tuned back in for season 4 because I was sick. Because I was watching it last week in bed because I needed content. I had nothing else to do. And this entire season is about Taylor going to go on The Bachelorette from episode 1, essentially.
Okay.
Like, this is planned. And every other cast member is treating this as her inpatient. We need to get Taylor on The Bachelorette. We need to get her to get there. We just need to make sure she can even get there, that she doesn't mess this up, that she can get there, because we need to get her away from Dakota. If we get her to The Bachelorette, maybe, just maybe, she'll forget about Dakota. But what ends up happening the entire season is, with this deal on the line, Dakota and the dad talk of it all, which is like another element of the show that like no one asked for, where it's like these men are, I think it was important for season 4 to see this fracture happening where like these patriarchal forces are no longer bringing home the bacon, are no longer being centered in the home. These wives are the breadwinners, and these wives are the ones who have people's eyes on them. They're the ones that people care about. No one cares about these men.
Yeah.
And I think more now than ever, it's being questioned, like, why are these men here?
Right.
But in the case of many of them, they were still married. For Taylor, she is not with Dakota.
Right.
He is just her co-parent. But production kept him in the mix perpetually to almost torment her, in my opinion, to create entertainment.
Yeah.
Which at that point, I'm like, this is breaking the fourth wall in some ways to create some falsified reality to just constantly put her in a state of tension with him. Whereas if they were really just filming her life, he isn't naturally a part of it.
I think, my biggest upset comes from ABC. I just, this company knowing that they've had all of these domestic violence issues all the way back to
2023,
2023,
which is where this video stems from.
Exactly.
And it also, that was already spoken about on the show of The Secret Lives.
Predates, it was on the first episode, the very first episode of season 1. So ABC can't even claim ignorance. So you add that to the fact that it seems like they were putting them in a position to be violent and to be, just be in each other's spaces all the time. I just think that ABC is the biggest villain in this story, and they really need to be held accountable.
I agree. I honestly think that if it's not going to air on network television, they should just put it up on Hulu, because I don't know why they're harming the careers of all of these other men that wanted to participate, because everyone else knew what they were signing up for with Taylor, Frankie, Paul as the Bachelorette. No one interfered with that. No one got her or Dakota the help that they needed.
Exactly. Again, it's just really unfortunate. And it seems like, some of the friends, like you said, were like, let's just get her on this show. And I mean, I was reading that, it seemed like, on another hand, that either in season 3 or season 4, they were giving Taylor a really good edit. Maybe it was season 3 in order to set up for season 4 so that this Bachelorette thing can go forward. I don't know, but reality TV, I think this is why I'm not into it anymore, because it is so manufactured, and producers and heads of studios can play such a large role in your real life to where now you're in a violent situation.
Well, also their show is really interesting because it's like born out of being a part of the metaverse. So like they're constantly being fueled with like people perceiving them and that then interfering with their personal lives. And that spillover is just constant.
Well, it seems like all of the wives are kind of going through it in some kind of way, for the good or the bad. Because I saw that Jessie Draper and her husband
Yes.
are getting a divorce, her husband Jordan.
He ran to the courthouse to beat her. Many
Yes.
such cases.
Many such cases. There were allegations that she had cheated on him. She admitted to having an emotional affair with Vanderpump star Marciano Brunet.
The Vanderpump Villa of it all, that mess, I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
But on the good side, Whitney Levitt, she's living life. I mean, after her Dancing with the Stars stint, which she didn't win. I think she came in 6th, actually. But she went on. She's playing Roxy
Hart in Chicago.
and it broke records.
So Whitney's in Chicago right now. Megan Thee Stallion is now in Moulin Rouge on Broadway. And JoJo, like Leave Get Out, is about to replace Leah Michele in Chess. And I'm like,
gosh.
It's so cool to see all of these different types of celebrities entering the Broadway stage.
Oh, that's so amazing. Yeah. So I'm actually really happy for Whitney. I wish she was definitely not. I only watched season 1. She was not my favorite, her and her husband. I just was like, girl, you're so dramatic.
She's grown.
She has grown. She has grown. And so we love to see it.
And she's used the platform to her advantage and hasn't allowed it to, I think, bring her down.
Because I think what you have to do is break out of reality TV. You have to parlay it into something that's like more of a job.
I also think that like it was good for her to come on, like, if we're like thinking about like kind of like the Dance Moms pyramid, she was on the bottom in the first season. So then your only way is up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you start at the top,
Taylor, they're going to take you down.
they're going to take you down.
Yeah. So on the political front, everything, per usual, is out of control. But one thing that happened a couple of weeks ago that we didn't get to talk about that I desperately want to talk about is this guy, Joe Kent, who was the director for counterterrorism, and he stepped down. And it was under this guise of, I cannot support the Iran war. Mm-hmm. You said you were no wars president, and now we're getting into wars. And on the surface, you're like, that makes sense. His wife, Shannon, died in war in Syria. She was killed by a suicide bomber. She was in the Navy. She was an intelligence officer. And so you're like, yeah, good for him for like having some backbone. The guy's a white supremacist piece of shit and defends Trump on the fact that he really won the 2020 election.
Where do anti-war and white supremacy
go
hand in hand?
I don't know. But the more interesting thing that I want to talk to you about is he went on Tucker Carlson's show.
Okay.
And he said, as director of counterintelligence, he had access to like a lot of information. So he was like at his little computer clicking away, and he was looking into the death of Charlie Kirk, who was his friend. Okay. Because he wanted to, he's like, I don't know, like, it just seems like things moved really quickly and shit got shut down. And like, I just feel like there should be more information.
I'm surprised he went on Tucker and not Candace, because Candace is the one.
Candace is the one. But
doing the work.
But also he's a racist piece of shit.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So he said that when people found out that he was looking into Charlie Kirk's death, they shut his shit down. They were like, no, that's enough. He was told that federal authorities shifted control to Utah state officials and did not pursue any additional leads. And he was like, but how do you know there's no any additional leads? They were just like, you're cut off from any further inquiry. And this got me feeling very conspiratorial, because I have some questions for you. And I just need you to go on a ride with me real quick. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a little
detour,
but we're going to circle back. So just go with me. Okay.
I'm following. I'm locked in with pure ignorance in my heart and mind.
Which is the best way to be.
Okay.
Can you name the man who shot Donald Trump in the ear?
No.
Without Googling?
No.
So I was thinking...
Can tell you that he was a white straight man.
Okay. I was thinking, I cannot name the man who shot at a president who was shot just a couple of years ago while I'm a full grown adult.
Yeah, it's not giving Harvey Lee Oswald. It's not giving.
Yes. So I was talking to my husband. I was like, I can name Abraham Lincoln's killer, John Wilkes Booth.
Yes.
I can name JFK's killer, Lee Harvey Oswald. I could even name Bobby Kennedy's killer, Sirhan Sirhan. I wasn't even.
Who shot at John Lennon?
My husband was able to name it like that. Okay. So I wasn't alive for any of these. So then I was like, well, okay, but all those people died. So maybe like that's why it's more in our collective vocabulary, these people's names. But then I was like, okay, but Ronald Reagan was shot at and not killed. I can name that guy, John Hinckley Jr., who shot the president in order to impress Jodie Foster. Okay?
Yes.
So I'm like, how is it that I don't know the guy who shot President Donald Trump? Then I started to think, I also don't know the name of the guy who shot Charlie Kirk, which is really weird considering he was basically like a martyr for them.
For sure.
Right? Like in my neighborhood, there are flags, God bless Charlie Kirk. This is a man who people lost their jobs just using his own words against him after he was murdered. This is a man whose memorial had 100,000 participants across 2 venues, one of which was the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona.
This is a man whose wife created an alternate platform for the Super Bowl halftime show in his memory.
Now TPUSA or whatever it's called, the organization he used to oversee, they're opening up all these chapters across high schools and colleges across America.
I've seen this.
But yet, I racked my brain for the name of the man who killed him. And you would think that if this man was a martyr, he was like a Jesus figure to them, a modern day Jesus figure, you would be dragging the murderer's name through mud all the time.
We know who Judas is.
We know who Judas is. So why don't we know who, don't even think I wrote it down on my card. Tyler something maybe?
Tyler something, reveal yourself.
Tyler something, reveal yourself. Isn't that not strange? Don't you think that that feels a little off? Like there's a reason why we don't. It's like the guy that killed or who shot at Trump, I think they just killed him on site.
Couldn't say.
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
I think they killed him.
Would need to fact check it.
They killed him, and another man in the audience who was just at the rally also got killed. And then as we know, the guy who killed Charlie Kirk was arrested a little while afterward. They found his gun with some bullets that had engravings on them, and his trans partner. Like, can't tell you his name, but I can tell you all these facts. And yet, we are not watching the trial. We know nothing. And to me, it just says that there's a reason why. Why are they not shouting this Judas's name from the rafters? It's really weird to me.
Is it because they're white men?
I think it's because, one, Trump wasn't really shot for his shooter. I don't think he was really shot. And for Charlie Kirk, I think it could be that they just pinned it on someone to make it go away. They just picked some guy that they could pin it on. And he might be involved, and there could be more people. I'm just like, okay, yeah, JFK was killed by the government. MLK was killed by the government. Malcolm X was killed by the government. The government was involved in all of this. So how do we know that Trump didn't kill Charlie Kirk? Because he was becoming quite anti-Israel. I'm the wrong Candace to talk to about this, by the way. There's another Candace who's much more conspiratorial than me, but this is where I am.
So much so that the other Candace I've bought into for the first time in my life.
What about her? She's just speaking facts.
I think that, like, if she's not speaking facts, she's speaking just enough sense that she's caught my attention.
Exactly. Where she loses me is where she starts talking about Bridget Macron is really a man. And looking for her penis bulge. The other thing that I want to talk about is that I have to fly pretty soon. I'm going to Texas.
I wouldn't wish a flight on my worst enemy right now.
And guess what? Neither would I, but this cannot be helped. I have to go. And it is so crazy. So we're in a partial government shutdown because Trump is tying a bill to fund TSA with both immigration and this SAVE Act, which is, both are so crazy because one, ICE is not only fully funded, they have more money than they've ever had before. So it's not like they're underfunded. But also he's tying it to the SAVE Act, which is this voting act, which he's calling like, you know, a common sense voter ID law, but is going to make it hard for women who changed their names when they got married to vote.
So wait, he is tying this to TSA getting resources or the government not being shut down?
TSA is not being funded. It's only partially shut down. It's this part of the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay.
TSA is shut down, and he's like, I'm not funding TSA. So TSA agents are not being paid right now.
So is this another conspiracy? Because is he just waiting for something terrible to happen at the airport? So then we're like, people are going to have to say yes to this SAVE Act. And
I mean, the old head of the TSA who used to oversee all the training and everything said, something bad is going to happen. He's like, worst case scenario, someone's going to get a weapon through and do something with it on a plane. It's going to happen. And that's the thing. Like, this is where my conspiracies lies, because I don't think Donald Trump gives a shit about the American people. So I don't think that he would care if something like that happened. I think that it plays into his control. Like, he would love to see that happen because, like you said, people would be like, Jesus, Democrats, just give in.
Yeah, we need TSA. They're essential. But they're so essential that they shouldn't be tied to any other
bill. It should be a clean bill, which the Democrats have tried to push through now 6 times already. A clean bill that just funds TSA. But one of the things that's really interesting that I found out was that this has always been in the works, or not always, but it's been in the works for years. This was part of Project 2025. And if you go on page 158 to page 159 of Project 2025, it says, until it is privatized, TSA should be treated as a national security provider and its workforce should be deunionized. He has now brought ICE into airports to replace the TSA agents who are not coming back into work to work for free, who are calling out or who have quit. Now, TSA agents get 6 to 9 months of training on how to detect bombs and other weapons. And yet we're just pulling these goons off the street who have had no TSA training to do what? And interestingly enough, all the ones that I see at the airport, they don't have masks on like they did in Minnesota. But the other interesting fact about that is all the ones that I see at the airport are brown people.
So interesting.
So they're not protected by the masks like the white dudes who were on the street in Minnesota killing people and fucking people up. It's really, really crazy. But I will just say, Democrats do not give in. They are simply asking for common sense things to happen with ICE. They're like, you can't wear masks. You have to have a warrant before going into someone's house. You can't just raid at a preschool. It's like common sense
What
things.
direction is it trending?
Democrats are not giving in as of yet. And I think if they can just hold out and nothing bad happens at an airport having to do with TSA, I don't know. But Trump is saying that the SAVE Act is the most important bill he has ever put forward. And it's of course. Of
course, because it would change the voting landscape.
And the midterms are coming here in November. Of course, he wants to be able to rig the election in his direction. So it's all very scary, like it is every week since Trump has been back in office. But yeah, I have to fly. And the lines are 4 to 5 hours in major airports. In Houston International, you're starting in the basement. They got people in the basement in a line that winds up through security, 5 hours. Who has that time?
I ain't
got time for that.
No, I got bronchitis.
That's me
That's me this week.